Well, good morning, everyone. It's Leanne Greff with today's weekly live video, a free class that I do most every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Time. So I have some wonderful projects today for one for the advanced stamper who loves a challenge, and a few for the beginner or those who just want to get cards made and use your product. So kind of a mix of projects today that I think you're going to enjoy. So let's see, got all my lights on. I'm gonna get my laptop synced up. Let me know you're here, where you're from, and if it's your first time here too. I'd like to see that. Might take just a minute here for me to see the video. Okay, there we go. All right. Good morning, everybody. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for spending your an hour or less with me today. I appreciate that, and I'm so glad that you enjoy my videos, that you're on it and ready and waiting. And already shared today, Barb. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to get right into Prize Patrol. There's a few other little housekeeping things that I want to talk about, but not much. So last week the prizes were a set of opaque adhesive back gems. Those are new, and there's like 3 different sizes. Not new, I'm sorry. These are retired, but they were in one of the catalogs a year ago maybe. And then a share of the Trusty Tools designer paper that I highlighted in last week's video. So awesome paper that you can fussy cut the tools. You could, some of the dies in the Trusty Tools match it, but you don't need them. You can just fussy cut or use them as neat backgrounds. So great designer paper for guys or girls, gals. I have a lot of friends and people I know who are the woodworkers of the family. Their husbands are not, or their boyfriends. So it's really neat that people are stepping out of the norm and getting into that. My husband's so good at it, I don't even attempt it. I can do anything. All right, so, oh, by the way, this is still available. Everything in Sale-a-Bration is still here. I'm just shocked that we have not run out of anything yet. But winners, drum roll. So Trina won the designer paper and Janine Toomey won the gems. So congratulations, gals. Thank you so much for sharing and commenting in order to win a prize. And help me get the word out on my videos. I appreciate that. I'd love to extend my reach to more stampers. So if you have a stamper friend, please share my videos with them. So I've heard such good comments from you all. You're so generous, saying that you learn from my videos and are inspired. I got a wonderful comment from a customer who placed an order, and I sent her a thank you card, and she sent me the sweetest email back saying, if you ever wonder if your card, the thank you cards that you send people make a difference, please don't anymore, because I sat down right away when I got that card, got my stuff out, and she hadn't stamped in months. And she was so inspired by the card that she made one, and she was just so thrilled that she got her things out again and got back into stamping. So that made my day. So I love hearing that. Okay, the prizes for sharing and commenting this week are a set of enamel dots. Now I think this is navy, could also be black, crumb cake and vanilla, and a set of the One Horse Open Sleigh designer paper. I think it's a half a pack. This was in the online exclusives. It is now retired. They ran out and they have cut it off. So they do that. They have no rhyme or reason why they decide when they remove something from the online store. I mean, it's the higher powers know what they're doing. So we just don't know. So if you like something in the online store, don't hesitate, because within, it could, let's see if I can get that in there. It could retire sooner than you think. So that's for the commenting and sharing. So if you want to win a prize, go ahead and do that. All right, a couple little things. Of course, the starter kit is still happening, the deal. Now, Joan was so good to bring her, because she joined last month with my team, And she brought her glass mat studio with her to our team meeting on this last Saturday. And I didn't order it. I missed the boat. I wanted to. And then all of a sudden they cut it off and demonstrators couldn't order it anymore. They're saving enough for starter kits, and we may be able to get it afterwards. So I'm hoping so, because I didn't think I would like it because I'm used to stamping on grid paper, but Joan just could not compliment it enough. She absolutely loves it so much. The grid paper, the blending, the little silicone mat you get, there's just so much in there, and it's free in your starter kit. It's a $60-some item, and for $99 you can get it free. So it's a really good deal. If you're interested in the starter kit, it's a great time to do that, to get that glass mat studio for free. $99, and you get $125 in product with the glass mat studio. So it's awesome. All right, the other thing I want to talk about is the paper pumpkin. We are into the, oh gosh, I bet I didn't bring my flyer. Hold on a second, I might have it. It's here somewhere. Oh, throwing things around. Oh, it doesn't show much, but this is the current paper pumpkin kit. And if you subscribe or order a 1 month, 3 month, 6 months, or 12 month, you're going to get the memorable meadows. And it features the meandering meadows designer paper theme, and you get an extra stamp set. So this is the month, once a year, we get an extra stamp set free in the kit. So if you get a 3 month, you get an extra celebration choice. So we have both this and this for celebration choices. So lots to choose from for a $50 order. Now, if you get a 6 month, you get 2 50s or 1 100 choice. If you get a year, which is what I recommend, you get 4 $50 choices or 2 $100 choices. So it's really a great time to sign up for Paper Pumpkin if you want to try it. And remember, you are in charge of which kits you receive. Janine just signed up for 3 month yesterday, and she said, well, I'm going to be gone in May, so can I stop? I said, yep, you just have to save your password, and you go right in, and you say skip a month. So you're in charge of which kits you get, and we always know what the kit is featuring before we get the kit, so you have a chance. All right, so that's the Paper Pumpkin. I do want to mention we have a few things that are out of stock. So the painted lavender dies are another few weeks. They're out. The Adoring Hearts embossing folder and dies is May, which to me means it might be carrying over because our new catalog starts in May. So that's a little suspicious. It might be a little tip or a hint. The Modern Oval Punch, the week of March 11th, and the Heartfelt Hexagon, 2 months. Oh, and that's such a great punch. But I'm hoping that that means that's carrying over as well. So hopefully, yeah. Okay, so that's that. Oh, okay, I know what I want to show. I bought or ordered the, where's the Happy House Plants kit. Now, I thought I read that these frames were paper, and I bought this first for my future daughter-in-law. My son is engaged, and she is a houseplant nut. Their house is full of houseplants. So, oops. So these are 2 that I did. And I have a tip on making these, and they are nice, I think 7.5 inch frames, and there's 4. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. So I thought I'd quickly share a tip with you on making these. So I saw somebody else do this, and I thought, how smart is that? So it took me, there's no stamping required, although I've seen a few people add some gems, and some people are adding just a little bit of an inspirational message, like a stamp image right there just on each one. I thought that was really cool. So I haven't finished mine yet, but I did make these, and I curled the plants a little bit. You can kind of see a little lift. So the thing about curling then is so you get these window sheets basically. Now there are coatings. See that printed on there? This is one I haven't taken apart yet. There's coatings on both sides of this. So you have to take something sharp and peel off the coating. Now don't damage your window sheet, so only stay in the corner to peel those off. It's a little bit of work to get that done, just saying. But so then there's, of course, there's mats, and then there's the back of the frame. But to make this a shadow box, so these do not get pressed flat, these pretty curls I just did, I grabbed my dimensional strips and put them in each corner. Now this is after the window sheet is on here, right? So first the window sheet goes in, these little tabs are folded up, and you add these dimensional strips right in on the frame, so you can't really see them. So you do that on 4 sides. You can see I've got 3 going here. Then you would add your mat. Then you would add your plant. And now you do not lose your curl. I don't know, hopefully you can see that. But it's quite dimensional and just simply beautiful. I think these would be gorgeous in a hallway, in a bathroom, just such pretty home decor. Just love, love, love this. So my daughter-in-law's, or future daughter-in-law, is going to be so happy to get this. I'm really excited to give it to her. So anyway, that's a little tip on putting those together. They're $25, and they're in the online kit collection. So that's what you can see there. Our kits are awesome. What a great gift that would make somebody. I'm happy to give it to my daughter-in-law, future daughter-in-law. They've been engaged for a while and finally set a date for September, so we're excited. Okay, I'm gonna wet my whistle. All right, we're going to play today with the most adored designer paper. Now, I haven't made a sampler of this, but you can see a lot of the prints in here from what I have left. It's I've used quite a bit, and especially in the swap that I made for my team this weekend. We had our team swap, and our theme was fun fold cards, and man, they knocked it out of the park. So impressed with them. They just did a wonderful job. I'm not going to have time to share them today because I have a lot to share, but probably next week I will share them. So I featured I can't stop using the Thoughtful Moments die and embossing folder. It's just it's just so fun to use. So I'm going to share that, a quick tip again on how to use that in a different, not really a different way, but here is my card. So this is a Cascading Pleats card. Isn't that cool? Excuse me. So I really went with the bling here. I went with the gold and flirty flamingo, and it's just such a cool card. My friend Susie sent me one, and she, once I saw it in my hand, I'm like, I think I can make that, because I'm a little intimidated by making something like this just from like a picture, and I don't honestly watch a lot of videos. So I'm just too busy. I don't, unless I really want to know something, I'll kind of like, yeah, I'll do that later. I'll look into it later. So anyway, let's start with, I'll show you each side. So these hearts are from the Hooray for Surprises dies. Of course, this is from the Thoughtful Moments hybrid embossing folder. So the designer paper is all from the Most Adored. Here is another of the Thoughtful Moments greetings, and the heart is from Give It a Whirl dies. I wanted more hearts, and so are these hearts from the Give It a Whirl dies. And aren't they pretty? I used our gold foil. And then that greeting is from the Something Fancy stamp set, which has just neat greetings. Lots great varieties. So my theme was a wedding or even an anniversary. I thought this would work wonderful for both. And so anyway, that's our card. We're going to quickly, I don't know if I'm going to run it through, but I have some tips. Okay, so we have our large die. I'm not going to use any of the smaller ones today. Move that aside and get the brayer out. Now when I wanted to use, you can see I made a whole bunch. They're kind of getting stained. Some of the cardstock gets embedded in here, but it still seems to work just fine. So you want to, we'll just do the Celebrate. And you're going to ink up, this is Flirty Flamingo ink. Now I'm going to ink on the label side, where Stampin' Up! Has their label. That's the side you want to ink on. So I'm going to ink on the Celebrate. And yeah, it'll go on other words too. And you could certainly do a whole sheet. Or what I did was I had a little piece up here for the Oh Happy Day. Just make sure you get that really good. And then when you set it down, there's these legs on your brayer. You don't set it this way. This way it keeps your work surface all nice and clean. So I just rinse that brayer under running water and it comes right out. Oh, I'm so glad you like it, Bobette. Thank you. So then I take scraps of cardstock and first, I always forget this. Even though it's inked, you put that and you nestle it right in there. This is really important. It cannot move. Then you add your cardstock and try not to get it in the folder because that's hard on your folder. If you put your cardstock in the crease, please don't do that. And then I add another piece here, run it through, and then you run it through. Now, I have a tip for you. If you do not have plate number 4, for our 3D embossing folders, you need to get that. It makes your life so much easier. We have so many thick folders right now that all you need is your basic platform. And it even says on some of our Use with 3D embossing folders, 1, this is plate number 1. Then you put this on and then it says plate number 4 and that is it. You just run it through. And all right, I'll just do it because I have it all right here. And it does tend to be pretty tight, so watch the wiggle. Yep, it's tight. Now, if it doesn't go through, double check your nestling. So this has to be nestled in for it to run through and not ruin anything. So double check that. Oops, almost lost that. So then you just peel. And then I would run this under warm water as well, this whole folder and even this because it might have some ink on there. So it's just so simple to use. I absolutely love it. But in the annual catalog, I'm going to show you where that plate number 4 is. If you have any 3D folders you want, it's specialty plate number 2. It's $11, plate number 4. Now in the past, we had a blue one and maybe a purple one. I believe they were clear. This one is solid gray. And I do this for my customers because you never want to put your embossing folder on top as you run it through. You should always sandwich it underneath something, always. It's gonna curl and can crack and ruin your embossing folder. So, but plate number 4 is the best gem we have for our embossing folders right now. Okay, so you can see I did tone on tone for these. Let's see if I can get that on here. So it's very subtle. I didn't do it on white this time because I had a white heart, but it's just very subtly inked in the depth of it. Now you can also go ahead and add some Wink of Stella to the top areas, or it doesn't really matter because the Wink of Stella is so subtle. It doesn't matter if you hit the others, the lower areas, but that adds a little extra sparkle. Okay, so that's the folder. Done with that. Now and just look at the wonderful greetings you get. I'm surprised we still have this. I kind of expect that this will run out like the hearts did in the other one that's similar to this, the hybrid hearts folder. So beware. Get it while you can. So we're making a Cascading Pleats card if you just joined us, and how to get that shape. So this is a basic, we're doing one at Club, and this is the Club one. So I'll have another one to share maybe in a week or two, another version. But so you can see the difference. You've got to cut this off. So how to do that? You take a ruler and you measure down 1.5 inches and you make a mark. Okay, now you can draw that across if you want to make 2 marks or whatever. So I guess, oh, do I have another pencil? Well, it doesn't matter because I'm going to cut it off. It doesn't matter. So another 1.5 inches. We'll just do another mark right there. Trying to be light. And then you skip 1 fold. So I'm not going to make a mark on that one, but I'm going to make a mark on the 3rd one. So first section, 2nd section, and remember, this project sheet will be on my blog next, probably Monday. Okay, so yeah, that give me a week and I will have this on my blog. So 7/8 inch is here. Okay. All right, so then you bring in your paper trimmer and now what I did, I'm gonna just line that up, is after I made one, I'll show you what I did. Okay, I'm gonna get that, sorry, gotta get that in the screen, don't I? Okay, you only go to the score line, okay? Then you move it to, now I'm looking through my grooves here. Right here I can see and I'm making sure my cardstock is straight all the way up. I'm gonna scoot my, whoops, don't lift it too high. Scoot my trimmer blade to this side and then score to the next line. Okay, that's all we need for that. Now I'm going to take, this is how, and you can use, basically, what I like to do is draw another line. But I want to make it high enough that I'm going to cover it or cut it off. And then you're going to draw a line from that cut mark to the other corner. You know what, it seems confusing, but that line didn't show up. But this is, and you can use a paper trimmer if you want to. So to that score line, then to this score line, and then diagonally to the final center score line. So that is your card base, okay? All right, now what I do, I save this. So because then all I have to do is, say this is my card, is pencil that in and trim it off. And that's what I did with my club gals, is just trim that off and you don't have to use a tape measure or a measuring ruler. So it's so much easier if you save this template and then you have it for all future Cascading Pleats cards. So yeah, once you do it, save this. That's your template. Okay, all right, so the layers I almost put this card together. I was making swaps and this was my last layers and I didn't even realize I was about done. So I have, and it's quite easy to put together. Okay, we'll use this one. So I like to start at the back. Okay, so, and sometimes I've found on foil papers, especially the larger foil, my glue shows. So I'm gonna try it on this one, but a very fine line, don't use too much. Sometimes I see the lines of my glue on foil paper and I don't like that. Okay, so bottom layer. And then I actually did stamp this already, so that is going to go in the center, although I'm going to wait with that because I want to make sure that this covers as it, yeah, I guess it will cover, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. Okay, I alternate between adhesives all the time, whatever I can grab. I'm going to do a little bit off center, a little bit more on that side than that side, just because I want to be double sure it's going to cover. Okay, so let's go ahead and add our hearts. Oh, I have an extra. Okay, so I prefer to add my glue to my large area and then press my little tiny things on top, because then I'm not holding this gluey little piece and getting myself all full of glue. So I always add my glue where I want them and then just drop them right on. Okay, so here's our next layer. So we'll add some liquid glue to this. It's such an easy card once you get that angled cut. So I'm going to insert that on that fold line, and I'm making sure that it lays evenly with the bottom, but it's in that fold, and I'm going to close that and press it so it moves. And that's one of the pluses of using liquid glue. Oh, thanks, Nancy. I appreciate that. So, so yeah, you can kind of push that into the fold or not. That's totally up to you. So here's our next layer. So I already glued that. I think I was making my swaps, and I'm going to go with the heart is crooked, but the greeting is straight. So that's what I want to do. Just add that right in the center. And it is hard to know what's straight and what's crooked when things are at an angle, but you do your best. All right, and then we get to the front layer. See how easy? Well, of course, all of these layers, and they will be on the free project sheet. All of my measurements are right here, and then the tips, and then the products that I use are all on the Most Adored Cascading Pleats card project sheet. Okay, so now this one just goes on the front. How easy is this, right? It's all about that angled cut that you do for this card. You know, cutting that off is the only hard thing. So I love that when something is not as difficult as it looks. There's something on there. Okay, now to decorate. Try and use a thin amount. This is our gold foil that is in the annual catalog. And this is, oh, the dies are from the Hooray for Surprises. It's in the spring catalog, and it has that peekaboo option that you can have somebody pull out some surprise things. And oh, I should bring that card over, but I don't have it right now. So I just want to angle these. Okay, press that on there. And then here's my die cut Celebrate. And I did not pop any of this up. I thought there was enough layers that I just did not have to. You can see me spread my adhesive. That way you do not get those leaking bits of adhesive that kind of can ruin your card, and especially on foil. Oh, it shows up so strongly on foil. So once you get glue on foil, the only thing I can think of that will take it off is alcohol, an alcohol wipe. Okay, so I made a little bow out of my elegant trim. I just couldn't add quite enough bling to this card. Oh, I'm glad you like it. Thank you. So just to the edge of the card, or the bow, I have a little piece of something there. I don't like you. I'll pinch it underneath on that glue dot. Okay, and then lastly, I added some of the festive pearls. These are some of my favorite embellishments. They're just a nice soft green and blue that works with both, red and cherry, silver and gold. Some of my favorites. And they're nice and small. If you like small embellishments, this is a good one. Using my take your pick tool, and I'm done. Now what I did not do, and I should have done, is to use my bone folder on those pleats. Of course, after the fact. And that will keep it closed a little bit better than it might otherwise. So, did I do that one? And the more, like if you send this in an envelope, you can see this one's laying pretty flat compared to this one. The more you keep it flat, like in a clear envelope or a gift envelope, it'll lay flatter. But it's just so cool to have such an interactive, I don't know, fun fold card. I just love it. So when you make your template or when you make your first card, save this and then put it somewhere where you can use it later. So you don't have to like figure out reinvent the wheel basically. Okay, so that's our fun fold card for today, Cascading Pleats. Isn't it neat? I just love it. So this is the Most Adored designer paper. It's free with a $50 order during Sale-a-Bration. We only have, is it less than 2 weeks now left? So yeah, get your orders in if you want some of these free items. Don't wait and regret. Oh good, I'm glad you're gonna try it, Debbie. Awesome. Okay, so again, I used the, for our next project, so I'm gonna start another one now. I used just the foil side, no colors. So I used the foil and I have some direct paper tips for you. Okay, so I decided to kind of step back a little bit and go with kind of a simple card base or layout and make multiples of them, showing you how to use this foil paper. So I'll put that one over here. So you can see they're colored, where they don't come colored, right? They come plain. So you can see this is that one right there. So we're going to use the direct to paper technique. It's so simple. You just need some scrap paper and ink. That's it. No fancy dancy techniques. But I do want to point out in my project sheet, let's see, we'll show all 6 cards and directions on every single card because I used ribbon in a different way on every card. So I know some people are after ribbon ideas. How do I want to add ribbon, but how do I add it? So this one's a double bow plus across. This one is a bow tied around an opening. This one just has a flag, a wrap, and then a flag. This one has a loop like a Cancer ribbon. This one has the back and forth loops, 2 loops and 2 ends. And this one has 2 thin ribbons going across. So how interesting each one is, but very simple, very simple. This one is probably the hardest one because it involves probably using either a third hand or a reverse tweezers. Okay, we are going to use a new color. So by the way, Pebbled Path, Sweet Sorbet, Copper Clay, Pretty Peacock, Azure Afternoon, and Highland Heather. So each of these designer papers was rubbed with the ink that matches the cardstock underneath it. So we're going to do a new color for this card today that I'm going to share. Okay, so here's my paper. Here's my scrap. And I'm going to do Berry Burst. So Berry Burst is kind of a dark pink, similar in like our Rich Razzleberry. So you need tissue and you need a piece of scrap paper unless you want to make a mess on your work surface. And basically you can either tap or you can rub. Okay, turn that around because I'm very right-handed, and I'm going to use a tissue so I don't get too full of ink to hold that paper in place. And I can see I have a little bit of lightness or whiteness showing there. So you just want to make it even. And this all depends. I can see, I think I need to ink my pad because it's not, normally it would be finished by now with all the tapping I'm doing. So that shows me that my pad needs inking. Okay, so that's it for that. Now, what I tend to do is hold, because I'm trying not to get inky. All of the white is saturated, but the ink on top of this gold foil is not. So you can see, I'm only going to do this side. You can see the difference, how this is all shiny. Let me turn this over. This side is shiny and this side is still a little bit dull. So now I can hold that and just wipe off. So everything that was on the gold is coming off, and everything that is on, oh, got some stickiness or something, everything that was on the white area of that paper is saturated. So the back side was red, it's kind of hard to tell. I think I have sticky on me. So yeah, that's it. That is all you do. So that is called direct to paper. Now, usually after you do that, the inked white is darker than the other, but it still coordinates, and I'm okay with that. And I really wanted to use, there's another one, you can tell the difference. So pretty. So the only thing you have to remember is you have to use classic ink. You cannot use StazOn, a permanent ink. It has to be water-based ink for this technique. Now, there's lots of different ways to do this. I think I'm going to try doing the angled cut because I don't know if people remember to do this as often as they could. So I'm going to get my points in my paper trimmer and close this up and cut that in half. Okay. So it just adds some interest to your card. Now, I purposely kept this card very, very plain. I wanted a simple layout that people could do either for beginners or just to get a lot of cards made. Okay, so then you separate those and adhere them like that. And you have a little interest to your card, a little bit more. Okay, so I'm trying to add a thin layer here so it doesn't show through. And you need to have this separated by probably almost 1/4 inch. Okay, there's 1/2. Trying to add thin layer. Like I mentioned earlier, sometimes liquid glue will show through on some of the large foil areas. I don't like seeing those lines. So I'm using a thin amount of glue and trying to get this even. So see how it adds just a little bit of interest? Okay. All right. Now I think we're going to stamp our greeting. Now I used on all of, did I show the stamp set? Where did my stamp set go? Uh-oh. Oh, here it is. Every one of the greetings I used is from Charming Sentiments. Now this is loaded with gorgeous greetings. If you don't have this set yet, I have a feeling it might retire. It's been out, I think, for 2 years because it was a $1 million set. Usually they don't last 3, but you never know. There's a set of dies with this, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't like the dies. I tried doing this one with the dies, and they are so tight, and I was on it perfectly. I had it taped down, and it still moved, and it ruined it, and I'm like, nope, I don't like the dies. They're just too close. So just my own opinion. Maybe you do. I just don't. It's just not my, it's just... like my friend Karen says, it's beyond my fuss factor. That's what she says. Okay, so we're going to do, this is my favorite greeting, the wishing you everything wonderful. And I'm going to double ink because, like I said, I think my ink is getting a little dry. And I will tell you where this die is from in just a moment. I should have huffed. This is the, where are my dies listed? Labels Aglow. That's from the Labels Aglow dies, which are kind of a sleeper. I mean, it was with a Christmas set, but they are really cool. You get circle, you get lots of these dotted edges, you get 2 or 3 neat greeting pieces. So that was a carryover. So I think it's in the online store. I hope it's still there and I'm not steering you wrong here. I'm gonna clean that. And my chamois. Oh, and another tip, I've said it before, I'll say it again, always stamp off before you go in your chamois, especially with darker inks, because if you don't, your chamois will get so full of ink that as you're cleaning, it doesn't clean anymore. So I always recommend stamp off, then clean, and this is a half a chamois. It fits in one of our stamp cases, which are still available in the annual catalog. So I use a half because I have these around my tables for my classes all the time. Okay, now to decide how I want to do the ribbon. One of my favorites is that double. So I think I'm going to do that. I don't know if I can rethink the wheel here and do something different. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do that. So this is what I usually do. Cut 1. And cut 2. This is our 1/8 inch trim. It's in the online store. It has silver and gold in one package. So, you know, you really need to check the online store. There are so many neat products there that you probably will miss because they're not in any catalog. So if you are, now this is what I tend to do is attach one, add adhesive to the other side, and then hold it and then press. Now the other thing, oh, you know what? Hold on. I'm going to try doing it kittywampus, whatever you want to say. No, I don't think I like that. Oh, change my mind. It's too wide. I can do that with baker's twine, but I don't think I'm happy with doing it with this ribbon. Straight. Press on yours. Is that in the right place? Yes. And then you can still kind of move them a little bit, even though they're on. So these are very, very basic cards. I mean, I kept this this template real basic. Oh, by the way, I didn't tell you the measurements. The designer paper is 3 inches tall by 4 inches wide, and the cardstock is 3.5 inch tall by 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So designer paper is 3 by 4. So you get 12 pieces on a 12 by 12 piece of designer paper. So 12 card fronts, and because it's 4 1/4 wide by 3 1/4 tall, you get 6 from an 8.5 by 11. So yeah, it's quite economical, a great way to, so depending on this way or that way, it's really pretty. I think I'm going to go over I like that showing too. Oh, decisions. I guess I'll do that. So a tip when you're adding on top of ribbon is to avoid putting it right on the ribbon. You either sandwich it or you do this. You put it on the top, and I'm using my edges. So I'm avoiding, except for this piece that goes over both, which will help anchor it. But I do not like it when the greeting floats on the ribbon. So we'll just give a little peek on that side. Okay, I did not add any embellishments to these cards at all. I kept them so basic, and I normally love to add, but here are cards. Now a couple I did vanilla. The Pebbled Path and the Copper Clay I did in vanilla. This one I think is pretty special. This is done with, so where's my card? So this heart, polka dot heart that was die cut out of here with the Hooray for Surprises dies, I purposely had, I had these scraps, and I thought, I'm going to save these. I can come up with something. And so the center of this is what I had left over from that. And so that's where this card came from, using my scraps. All of these greetings, well, except for this one, were in my scraps of greetings. I have a bag that I keep scraps in, like this one I had an extra one. Now that'll go back in and save it for when I need another embellishment or greeting. So, and then I just popped this one up in the middle of it. So pretty cool, huh? And just adding that strip at a diagonal adds interest to the card. So yeah, I know that saying is one of the best. It's one of my favorite in our catalogs right now. So anyway, this will be a free project sheet probably next Tuesday on my blog. Now remember, you can see all my project sheets. I have a whole category on flowerbug.net. So it's on the right side. Thank you, Susan. I appreciate that. You like my cards. Yeah, lots and lots of free project sheets. I've been doing them for months now. So if you like to save ideas, measurements, tips, all these, you can save them in a file folder or a folder on your computer. And then you have all these ideas with measurements for when you're crafting. So these are basic, great way to use your designer paper and get a whole lot of cards done. Simple add ribbon. You can either cut your cardstock or angle it, or I guess that's mostly what I did for most of these. But yeah, fun, easy cards. Okay, I think that's it. All right, Okay, thank you so much. I will see you next Tuesday. And don't forget, when you make a card, send a card. Your friends will love you for it. All right, have a great week, everybody. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.